Close your eyes now and let the rain against the window take you far away to a place of old stone castles and secret shadows. For centuries, a war has raged in the shadows of the human world, a war invisible to the naked eye, fought between two immortal races, the sophisticated vampires and the feral Lycans. The war wasn't about survival. It was about Victor's ego and Lucien's revenge. For years, the vampires believed they had already won the war, thought the Lycan leader, Lucian, was dead, killed by a traitor named Craven. But the truth was hidden deep underground. Lucian was clever. He had faked his death with Craven's help to plan his revenge. The rain falls in heavy, rhythmic sheets against the jagged skyline as Selene, a death dealer, an elite vampire assassin whose only purpose is to hunt and exterminate the remaining Lycans, perches upon a stone gargoyle, her black PVC suit gleaming like a beetle's shell. She looks down at the urban sprawl, her eyes scanning the crowd for the telltale signs of the enemy. One of her men captures photos of the Lycans, and from the heights of a stone gargoyle, Selene reviews the images, watching the Lycans moving through the crowd below. They then drop from the heights, their coats billowing like wings, landing silently on the pavement as Selene tracks them into the terminal. She watches from the shadows as the Lycans corner a young man, Michael Corvin, when Selene and her team chase them into the underground metro station. They found out the Lycans were chasing a man named Michael Corvin, who is a doctor. To end the war, Lucian needed Michael because he carried the rare Corvinus strain in his blood. Selene found him there and felt a strange need to protect him. Hiding in the terminal, Selene saw with her own eyes that the Lycans are alive and organized. A battle erupted in the underground as Selene's vampire men and the Lycans fought in the station. Later, in the basement, Selene fought a werewolf and discovered their hiding place, confirming the terrifying truth. The Lycans aren't extinct, and their leader, Lucien, is still alive. After discovering that the Lycans are alive and organized in a massive underground stronghold, Selene returns to the Vampire Coven's ornate mansion. She urgently reports her findings to Craven, the regent of the Coven, warning him that hundreds of Lycans are gathering beneath the city. However, Craven, secretly the architect of a grand betrayal, dismisses her claims with cold arrogance. He flatly denies the possibility of a Lycan uprising, telling her that if she requires proof of their extinction, Soren will personally assure her that they are nothing more than ghosts of the past. When Craven refused to believe Selene and dismissed her request to investigate the Lycans, she zoomed in on the captured photo and discovered they were hunting Michael Corvin. Meanwhile, Singe performed a blood test on James Corvin, but after it failed, he reported the results to the Lycans. Lucian, suspicious of the vampire's awareness, questions his men about whether the death dealers know of their plans. Meanwhile, after his subordinates failed to capture Michael Corvin, Lucian decides to hunt the human himself. At the vampire mansion, Amelia's messengers congregate and announce that she will arrive in 2 days to awaken Marcus. During this time, Erica, who is desperate to secure her place as Craven's queen, informs Craven that Selene has left the Coven without permission. Selene tracked Michael to his apartment, moving through the shadows with the precision of a predator, and arrived just as the Lycans, disguised in police uniforms, were scouring the hospital in a desperate attempt to locate him. When Michael finally returned home, he found his answering machine blinking with an urgent message warning him that the police were closing in. But he was startled to discover Selene already waiting inside his room, having performed her own silent survey of his life. She cornered him, her gaze piercing as she demanded to know why the Lycans were hunting him with such relentless intensity. But before he could offer an answer, the Lycans ambushed the apartment, forcing Michael to flee into the chaos while Selene held their attackers at bay. As he tried to escape via the elevator, he was confronted by Lucian. Although Selene shot the Lycan leader, Lucian found the chance to bite Michael before escaping. Selene grabbed Michael and saved him, but as they fled in her car, Lucian used a special medicine to release himself from the effects of the silver bullets and chased them by climbing onto the roof of the car, where he injured Selene with his sword. Michael then healed Selene and saved her life. Meanwhile, Lucian brought a sample of Michael's blood to Singe. When Singe saw it, he suggested Michael might be a hybrid. But Lucian interrupted, stating that because he had bitten Michael, the boy would soon turn into a werewolf and come to them on his own. Singe analyzed the blood and confirmed that Michael was indeed the one they were searching for. After healing, Selene brought Michael to the vampire mansion to protect him from the Lycans. Erica, who wanted to be Craven's queen and did her best to impress him, informed Craven of Michael's presence, leaving Craven angry that a human had been brought into the sanctuary. When Erica went to Michael in secret, she saw the werewolf bite mark. Terrified, Michael fled the mansion. Khan told Selene that he had created ultraviolet bullets that no one could resist, and noted that while Craven only interested himself in power, Victor was the one who truly decided what was done. A fearful Craven then met with Lucian to ask why he had revealed himself when the vampires now knew everything. But an angry Lucian told him he had hidden long enough and ordered Craven to leave Michael to him and do his duty. By entering the library and reading the historical records, Selene discovered that Craven's claim of killing Lucian was a lie used to nominate him to power. Sensing that something was terribly wrong, she headed out, only for Erica to confirm she had seen Michael's bite with her own eyes. Michael went to his colleague to tell him everything that had happened. But his companion betrayed him by informing the Lycans, forcing Michael to run again. Realizing the depth of the betrayal within the coven, Selene went to the tomb to wake the elder Victor early and gave him her own blood. Deep within the shadows of the vampire sanctuary, Selene prepared a final message for the elder she had illegally awakened. In her plea, she detailed the looming threat of the Lycan uprising, expressing a heavy sense of guilt for disturbing his centuries of rest, yet insisting that Lucian was alive, organized, and poised to strike the city during the sacred ritual. Most damningly, she cast suspicion upon Craven, suggesting his hands were stained by an unholy alliance with their ancient enemies. After laying out the elder's ceremonial robes and the blood required for his strength, Selene found herself confronted by a desperate Michael. Having returned to the mansion for answers, he stood at the center of a gathering storm. When Craven threatened Selene with permanent exile should she leave again, she stood her ground, declaring that Victor was awake and would be the one to judge their fates. In the chaos, Erica whispered a chilling truth to Craven. Michael was no longer merely human, but a carrier of the Lycan infection. As Selene drove Michael toward a hidden safe house, she explained the grim reality of his condition, noting that while an ordinary human would have perished from such a bite, he had endured. When Michael questioned if a vampire's bite would turn him into one of her kind, she clarified that it would only bring death. For Selene, Michael was a mystery that needed solving before he became a casualty of the war. She needed to understand why the Lycans valued his blood above all else. As the sound of Victor's voice echoed through the halls, a terrified Craven stood paralyzed before the elder he thought would sleep for another century. Victor immediately began his interrogation, but Craven desperately tried to deflect. ignoring the warnings Selene had provided about Lucian's survival and the organized Lycan threat. He dismissed her claims as impossible, focusing instead on the broken rules of the Covenant. Craven reminded Victor that it was Amelia and the Council's duty to awaken Marcus, and that by being woken early, Victor was now reigning outside of the sacred timeline. Victor, however, saw right through Craven's panicked excuses. He realized that while he had been sleeping, his regent had become obsessed with power, but lacked the spine to defend the Coven. Looking at Craven with pure loathing, Victor confessed that his choice of leadership had been a grave mistake, stating that he should have placed the mantle of power on anyone than the coward standing before him. In the solitude of the safe house, Selene shared the origin of her hatred for the Lycans and her unwavering loyalty to Victor's shadow ops, while Michael recounted the life he once knew. As the half-moon rose, Selene handcuffed Michael to a radiator, knowing the hunger of the coming transformation would soon override his humanity. She promised to return, leaving him trapped for his own protection as she headed back to face her maker. Unbeknownst to them, Lucian's forces were already moving to intercept Amelia's train, orchestrating a brutal slaughter. Upon Selene's return to the mansion, an enraged Craven attempted to assert his dominance, demanding she play the role of his loyal consort before Victor. She brushed him aside and went directly to the Elder, presenting her evidence of Lucian's survival. Victor, blinded by centuries of his own propaganda, initially refused to believe her, sentencing her to imprisonment for breaking the sacred chain of awakening. He decreed that her fate would be decided by the Council upon their arrival. Sensing a shift in the political winds, Erica chose to assist Selene in her escape. Claiming her aid was not born of friendship, but of a calculated move to secure her own standing once Craven's house of cards collapsed. As Selene was in the middle of unlocking Michael's handcuffs, she looked up and saw the Lycans descending upon their position. A brutal, close-quarters fight immediately broke out, with Selene forced to defend herself against multiple attackers at once. Seeing an opening amidst the violence, she shouted for Michael to escape through the window. Michael scrambled out into the night, but his luck ran out the moment his feet hit the pavement. He was instantly intercepted by Lycans disguised in police uniforms who had been lying in wait, while Selene was still trapped inside, locked in a fierce struggle and trading blows with the Lycan pack. The disguised officers hauled Michael into a police car. As they sped away into the night, the full moon's light triggered the virus in Michael's blood, beginning his agonizing transformation. Back at the mansion, Craven attempted to poison Victor's mind against Selene. But his lies were cut short when she stormed the chamber, dragging the captured scientist Singe behind her as living proof of the conspiracy. Under the weight of Victor's gaze, Singe revealed the full extent of the Lycan's grand design, the creation of a hybrid. He explained that Lucian was very much alive and had spent centuries testing the descendants of the Corvinus clan, searching for the one rare bloodline that could merge the two species. When Victor dismissively claimed that the Corvinus strain was nothing more than a myth, Singe stood his ground, confirming that Michael's blood was the perfect match and that Lucian had already claimed him by biting him. Victor's rage began to boil as he realized the depth of Craven's treachery and his involvement in this secret alliance. However, his fury reached its breaking point when his own men rushed in to report the total slaughter of Amelia and her council. While Amelia and her council were traveling via train to the mansion, they were ambushed by a strike team of Lycans who had infiltrated the transport. The Lycans utilized the confined space to overwhelm the vampires, tearing Amelia and her protectors apart. In a savage display of strength, This was not a mere skirmish, but a complete massacre, specifically designed to decapitate the vampire leadership. By the time Victor's men arrived at the scene, they found nothing but a blood-soaked wreck. The Lycans had not only killed the council, but had also successfully drained Amelia of her blood to fuel their hybrid experiments. As Singe let out a wicked, devilish laugh, taunting Victor with the fact that that plan was already in motion and the vampire's reign was ending, Victor snapped. In a blind fit of prehistoric rage, he struck Singe with a force so violent it crushed the scientist's skull, leaving his lifeline